Hi, my name is Garrett Edmondson, and welcome to another one of my data warehousing videos. This is the second video in the series of videos that deals with master data management and how to implement correctly master data management for a data warehouse solution. In particular, I am focusing in on data quality services. The last video was a demonstration of how to use data quality services to clean your customer data. Virtually every organization has customer data, and in most organizations this data is the most dirty or most corrupt or inconsistent data within the organization. And just cleaning the data and conforming it to certain standards can be of great benefit to any organization in being able to analyze their customers. In this video, I'm going to go through a demonstration of how to apply business rules to your customer data to be able to analyze and track your customers better. This enrichment of the data is an activity that's going to be the primary responsibility of the data steward. And the form of enrichment that I'm going to perform on this data is probably the most common, which will come in the form of applying business rules to your customer data. So to begin with, here I have a data set that represents customer data. Now this customer data is mainly demographic data about the customers of a fictitious company. Starting from the left and going to the right, you can see that I have a customer key, a unique way to identify a customer, followed by some very common attributes, such as first name, middle name, and last name. Additionally, I have date of birth, marital status, and gender. And as I scroll over, I see additional attributes such as yearly income, total number of children, and number of children at home. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to focus in on gender and number of children at home. I also have additional attributes that describe each customer, along with address information as well. At the end of this particular data set, I have a column marked Marketing Focus. So what's important to keep in mind about this demonstration is the scenario. And the scenario is that after a series of meetings with the top-level management of an organization, it was determined that the organization would like to focus strategically on how it tracks and analyzes particular customers that are of interest and align to the business's current strategy in terms of marketing and sales. And so this is the column Marketing Focus. Now, Marketing Focus is not a column that can be populated from any sources. That is critical. And it's only through a series of meetings where the attributes that defined the values for the marketing focus for a customer the logic can be determined. And so this marketing focus column is going to be populated with values that aren't in any available source system and that are only defined through logic that is determined in meetings with the executive team. So this can be implemented in many different ways. Another important factor to consider here is that the logic that is used to populate this can change, maybe on a monthly or quarterly basis. One group of customers might be targeted for one quarter, whereas in the next quarter, a completely different set of customers based on a different set of attributes could be targeted for the next quarter. So thinking about how to implement this logic in an ETL for your data warehouse, there are many options available to you. In most circumstances, I see many people trying to implement something like this by maybe pulling data from an Excel spreadsheet that gets manually updated. Or maybe they create an access form that gets populated as well with the necessary logic. Or even worse, even though it is possible to hard code these values into your ETL process, if you do that, then you'll have to be continually updating your integration services package or your ETL process as the business rules change. In my example, maybe even on a quarterly or a monthly basis, the rules that populate this column will have to be changed. And so the correct approach for this type of scenario is to use data quality services to define these business rules, because data quality services provides an interface by which the business data steward can create the business rules and have those business rules apply to your ETL process without you having to make constant modifications to your ETL process. And so that is really why DQS is an ideal tool for this kind of situation. So in my scenario, after meeting with the executive team, it was determined that the customers that want to receive a high focus in terms of marketing and sales are those customers who are female, have the gender equal to F, and who have multiple children at home. It was determined by the marketing and sales teams that these are the primary customers that we'd like to focus next quarter's marketing campaign on. And we like to track their overall sales performance in terms of number of sales in our data warehouse. And so that is what we will be implementing in our data warehouse through data quality services. So if I go to a very basic integration services, here I've created a very basic integration services package with one data flow that's pulling customer demographics data that I just previously described from my source database. It's going to flow through DQS and then go into my data warehouse. I've put a data viewer on this data flow so that we can see these records. I'm not going to be actually inserting any data into any other database. This is just a multicast to be a placeholder. So the idea is that the business data steward can come in here and apply on a monthly or quarterly basis, as required by my scenario, apply different business or update different business rules as needed so that the correct customers can be tracked historically, and so that the business can have a better idea of which customers are performing well or according to expectations and marketing campaign analysis. I'm not going to go through all the steps of how to set this up in data quality services. There's many good tutorials on the web that I will link to at the bottom of this video. But what I am going to do is show the basics of what components are required in DQS to start this process. First off, in DQS, I have a knowledge base. I've created a knowledge base with 3 domains: gender, number of children home, and marketing focus. That's going to be the domain that I'm going to want to populate with either high, medium, or low, depending on the marketing focus that is desired in this situation. I've also created a composite domain. This composite domain is simply a combination of the gender, marketing focus, and number of children home domains. I created this composite domain just to make it easier to work with multiple domains at once. And so how these rules get applied is that a data steward can come in here and create business rules that will then be updated automatically in the integration services package, and data will be populated into the marketing focus domain or column according to the business rules. And so without any business rules implemented so far, if I simply run this package as it exists now, my data viewer will show me the state of the data without it having been cleansed. So here are the same attributes: first name, middle name, gender, number of children at home, and crucially, my marketing focus column has not yet been populated because the business rules have yet to be implemented. Once the business rules are created for my scenario, then the marketing focus column output will be populated according to my business rules. So let's go ahead and create those business rules. Now I'd like to demonstrate how to create these business rules. With my marketing focus attribute composite domain selected, a composite domain which contains gender, marketing focus, and num children home, I can select the CD rules, or composite domain rules. If I scroll over, now I can create rules. Now I'm going to simulate what a data steward can do. And the important thing to keep in mind here is that a non-technical person, someone who doesn't know SQL, someone who doesn't know how to write case statements, can actually create and modify and update business rules, which will then modify the ETL process and implement those rules automatically. So here, I'm going to click on New Rule. I'm going to call this High Marketing Focus. So for this rule, I'm going to have the gender domain selected, and where its value is equal to F for female, and where the number of children at home is greater than or equal to 2, meaning multiple children at home, then I want to update the marketing focus column and set its value equal to high. So now, with this marketing rule, anytime there is a female, gender F, with the number of children home greater than or equal to 2, the marketing focus column gets updated with the value high. Hopefully that demonstrates how easy it is for a data steward, even a non-technical person, to come here and create business rules. And the rules can be fairly complex. They can bridge or select values from multiple domains or multiple columns with and, or operators in a variety of different ways, such as those that I'm showing now. So the data steward has many options available to them in a non-technical way so that they can implement the business logic as the business logic changes. I also have a medium rule, which is similar. When my gender column value is equal to F for female, and the number of children home is less than 2, then the marketing focus is medium. And lastly, when the gender is male, the marketing focus is equal to low. So when applying these rules, I can simply activate them, create them, and then activate them. and then click Finish to publish the changes that I've made, whether I've created business rules or simply activated business rules. I can now publish out my knowledge base with these business rules. So, okay. And now, in my normal nightly ETL batch process, if I go to the same integration services package and rerun it, all those customer records are going to be pulled into DQS and will be cleansed, and the business rules that I just activated and created will then be applied to the data. And because I've put a data viewer on this, we can see the output. Here again, I have my customer key, first name, middle name, last name, the standard attributes. Scrolling all the way over to gender. Here's my gender. Number of children at home. And if I scroll all the way over to the very end, what you will see is now my marketing focus output has been populated. So the source was null because prior to the business rules being applied, this column was null. Now it is populated with the correct values according to the business rules that I just implemented, me acting as the data steward. And we can test this pretty easily. Here is my high marketing focus as an example, and if I scroll over to the number of children at home, 5 is indeed equal to or greater than 2, and the gender of this customer is F, or female. So I can tell that my business rules are being applied properly. And in fact, I can go in and create new business rules or update them through the knowledge base that I've created, customer marketing. And when I do make those updates to those rules, those composite domain rules, and save the knowledge base and publish it out, then my ETL logic is updated automatically as well. So the next time my ETL runs, it'll run with that updated business rules, with those updated business rules. So this is one way, one very important way, business rules can be implemented. Because in many instances, business rules change too frequently and are not kept in any source systems, but can provide great value to the business. Again, implementing these business rules through data quality services is superior to pulling this kind of logic either from Access, Excel files, or even hard coding this business logic into the ETL itself. Had I hard coded this as a series of, let's say, case statements, SQL select case statements, then I would have to go in, me acting as either the data steward or the IT developer, ETL developer, would have to go in and update that case statement with each subsequent change of the business rules. However, as a data steward, by only working through the DQS client, I can create as many business rules as I like and update them as I like without ever having to involve IT. And that way, all of my subsequent reports and analysis that are performed at the enterprise or organizational level will also be updated as well and reflect those business rules that I, as the data steward, have implemented. So, hopefully this gives you an idea of the scenarios in which data quality services can help improve the overall master data management of your data warehouse solution. And this is critical that you identify these kinds of business rules and this kinds of logic and be able to implement them correctly in order to have a valuable data warehouse solution that provides great business value. Too many times I've seen data warehouse solutions that aren't flexible enough and responsive enough to business rules, in which many complicated business rules are hard-coded and become very static, and over time the data warehouse solution loses value simply because there is no concept of master data management or data stewards who are responsible in part for maintaining and implementing these business rules. Now, as you see through the data quality service front end, it is not a technical front end, meaning a non-technical person can come in here and update values as needed. And once they save the updates to the knowledge base, then the ETL process is affected automatically. I hope this video has been helpful in helping you understand some of the potential that's available in data quality services. Thank you.